And now you have to ask yourself, how did 50 come into the possession of Diddy's footage for Diddy's documentary about Diddy? This is crazy because he's making a document himself, but then he took that documentary. Apparently what happened was that Diddy did go to jail and then he couldn't.
Def Comedy Jam 25. It's good to see so many funny people together in one room, all wondering the same thing. Is Katt Williams gonna show up?
Shit, I'm nervous as hell right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, he's right there.
There he is.
I didn't know he was right there. I would not have said that if I had said that. Yeah. Not used to quiet, introspective Katt Williams.
No. But let me ask you this. When have you ever seen this many heavy hitters all together at the same time? Yeah. In the same room. Yeah.
Right.
One could watch this and think that you really hate Sean Combs.
Why would they be thinking that?
Because of the things that you post on Instagram,
Yeah,
because of the...
Look at this. And let's stop for a second and do say that I hated him enough to hire his kids. And we've never done anything to each other. So it's just competitive energy and things that you say about other artists while you...
Hell in 2024, it's up for all of them. It don't matter if you Diddy or whoever you is. TG Jakes, any of them, all lies will be exposed. That's all. And anyone who takes that the wrong way.
Katt Williams didn't just make noise, he made people uncomfortable because what he hinted at wasn't just about one man, it was about a system. A system where certain names stay protected, certain stories never get told, and certain people somehow never show up when the cameras are rolling. And now, with a documentary that claims to expose everything, people started noticing something strange. Some names were completely missing. Not small names, not irrelevant names, but people who were in the same rooms, the same circles, the same moments as Diddy himself. So the question isn't just what was exposed, the real question is who was quietly removed and why.
Going places, picking up prostitutes, having them come to different places and have sex. It was that too. Cause let me just tell you something, man. The feds ain't give a damn about Cassie getting her ass whooped in that hallway. Let's keep it a buck. We had several times that we've seen professional athletes smack and beat up they girls on camera. Jay-Z got his ass whooped by his sister-in-law on camera. What's her name? Solange. He got his ass. The feds ain't step in and do nothing. The feds don't care about you getting your ass whooped. It's those other things that come under the guidelines that they care about.
Yeah, I mean, the tape comes out, man, and the way I seen it when the tape came out, it made it look like everything Cassie was accusing him of now has credibility.
Before we seen that tape, it was a young lady named Gina that accused Puff of punching her, kicking her, and totally assaulting her while she was pregnant. Not one news media other than I think Tasha K ran that. Nobody did nothing because he was protected by those people. He was still in good with those people. The federal government is just as guilty as Diddy.
Do you believe that media and people in general, or even people in high places, are scared of Diddy? And they're scared like how powerful he is and the things that he could do to them?
I don't think they are scared of him. I think they more so, they don't want him to embarrass their reputation and things that they've been known for. You understand? I think that they don't want, if they was in any of those freak off tapes, if they played a part in any of those Diddy sessions, they don't want it to get out to the general public to make up their brand. That's why a lot of those rappers, that's why a lot of those athletes, they not saying nothing and they quiet as a church mouse. Because now they don't want to mess up their brand and they don't know what he's going to say. You ain't heard nothing from his biggest fan, Stevie J. He been quiet.
A lot of people are quiet. That's a fact. Well, you know, one of the things that happened right after Diddy was arrested is a long list of CEOs stepped down. What are your thoughts on that?
Half of New York City stepped down. So, did you know that, Cam?
I didn't know that, no.
Yeah. In the mayor's office, damn near everybody is stepping down. From fire chiefs to police chiefs to commissioner of this, commissioner of that, the board of education and everything. I'm like, yo, damn, all of them was on Diddy Island? I don't even know. But what I'm saying to you, allegedly, all these people are stepping down because they don't want to lose their pension. They don't want to be brought up in this whole Diddy mess. And they preparing, it appears to me that they preparing, if anything come out, that they could be already out and it won't be a big to do. They already someplace else. They already living a whole different lifestyle. So if their name came up, it won't be real big, great news because they're not in those positions anymore. That's what it appeared to me. They was getting out those positions so that it won't be a whole media race if they name come up in any of that stuff. They'd be like Kevin Lau, oh, the former CEO of, you know what I'm saying? It'll go away. But if he was still working there, then it'd be a big news and a big to-do.
What makes this situation different from every other celebrity scandal is what people aren't talking about, because according to insiders, this was never just about one incident or one video. It was about patterns, long-term behavior, repeated accusations, and most importantly, who knew about it and stayed silent. And that's where things start getting uncomfortable. The idea that powerful people weren't necessarily afraid of Diddy himself, but afraid of what could come out if everything was exposed. Not just his reputation, but theirs. Because if there were private moments, tapes, parties, or associations that could resurface, it wouldn't just damage one career, it could damage entire brands. And suddenly, silence starts to make sense. Executives stepping down, public figures going quiet, people distancing themselves before anything even surfaces, not because something has already been proven, but because of what might come out. And that's when a documentary stops being dangerous for one person and starts becoming dangerous for everyone connected to him.
Then you ask it, why you not a movie star? I didn't want to be a movie star. This the same Negro that hated on Bernie with this same thing. I didn't want to be a movie star. No, you couldn't be a movie star. There are 30,000 new scripts in Hollywood every year. Not one of them asks for a country bumpkin black dude that can't talk good Oba-Kaby and look like Mr. Potato Head. There ain't none. You would have to have range. I played a lot of characters, 60 movie roles. I'm not playing Katt Williams in there.
I don't know, Katt. We might not let you drink anymore the way I mean, we ain't even got...
You mean to tell me if Steve Harvey, your favorite comedian, you mean you've been waiting for him to do stand-up for 15 years now? He stopped stand-up because he got in a comedy battle called the Championship of Stand-Up Comedy with one Katt Williams in Detroit in front of 10,000 people and lost because Katt Williams said he was actually bald and that was a wig.
On all honesty, brother, you would have to ask him that. You know what I'm saying? But if I'm looking at it like that, then I know You know, those mansions are heavily guarded, 1. 2, he wasn't getting the love that he would get. I don't think he's getting love in LA. I don't know. He said he owns LA, he runs LA, he runs Miami, and he runs New York. So by him running LA, as he say he does, I would feel comfortable too. You know what I'm saying? If I knew for a fact that the person they got, and that was enough to call back all of everything, I would feel that comfortable too. But I wouldn't live there. I wouldn't go there. I'd do business and get on out of there. If I was still afraid. I don't think he may have not ever been afraid. You understand? Because he never acted like he was afraid for whatever reason it was. I can't pinpoint it myself, man. The kid had me running around California like it was a joke, and I knew better than that. So by Mace saying that, I guess Mace was like probably putting the finger on Puff a little bit. Yo, dude, you know why you living out there now, because you know big murders was enough to make everything be smooth. Whatever that everything is.
Do you think Puffy know who was responsible for Biggie death? Do you think he got some inside info on who killed Biggie? Because the murder is still unsolved, so that is wild for him to be living in LA knowing that Biggie got killed in LA, knowing that the murder is still unsolved. That's crazy, man, when you think about it.
Well, if he's listening to the FBI, he knows what happened to Big's killer. He knows what happened to the people who was behind that. If he's listening to the FBI. If he's listening to the streets and everything like that, still in all, they wanted him just as much as they wanted Big. If so much they wanted Big. We knew that Big was having flack from the dog pound cats and maybe a few dudes at death row, or maybe not. Puff was having flack from the dog pound, I guess, and he was trying to straighten that out. That's probably the reason why him and Snoop went to that thing with the Steve Harvey show. But anyway, I think Puff was just trying to air some stuff out. So he knew Big was leaving his label. He knew Big was starting his own label, having his own thing. So he was trying to straighten out as much as possible so none of that shit that...
The deeper you go into this story, the more it stops feeling like coincidence. Because when conversations shift toward the past, especially around figures like Biggie, what comes up isn't just tragedy, it's tension, unanswered questions, and relationships that never fully made sense. And that's where names like Mace start to matter, not because of what they said, but because of what they didn't say. Years inside the inner circle, close proximity to decisions, movements, and moments that shaped hip-hop history, yet very little ever publicly explained. And when people start revisiting those timelines, they begin to notice something unsettling. Certain people seem to know more than they let on, certain moves seemed calculated, and certain outcomes never fully added up. Even the idea that someone could move freely in places tied to major unresolved events without fear raises questions. Not accusations, not conclusions, just questions that never got properly answered. And when a documentary chooses not to even touch those connections, it doesn't close the story. It makes people look at it even harder.
Rat Pack, and I don't want to even say their names because they said I got their names wrong last time. What's his name? Kushner? What's the other guy? Leonardo? Yeah, his name. Man, I don't keep up with these cats. But I heard that that's not only the tape that's being shot. There's some other tapes out there, other people too with him. And him doing some things with some other people. So it's quite a few tapes that might be out there, what they're hearing. And I don't want to see the tapes, but I want to know if they really true. Because if they got if they got some tapes out there and it's with some underage, whether it's celebrities or not, it's gonna be crazy, bro. It's gonna be real crazy. And they're gonna have to bring that to forefront because the prosecutor's gonna want those tapes. And they're gonna do whatever they have to do legally to get those tapes. No ifs, ands, and buts about it. So we just better hope for his sake, that that's just a bunch of bull crap. But then there's lawyers out there saying, yeah, the tape does exist. Lawyers got on television to say the tapes exist. I don't really know or trust that, because they was trying to say he had a tape with one of the bodyguards and this lady that came out. So we don't know what to think until we actually see that and we get that version. You remember we had that bootleg version of R. Kelly tape?
Yeah, I remember that.
They don't even bootleg. Yo, they don't even bootleg no more, man. So it's gonna be hard to figure it out if it does exist.
Do you believe the guy in the tape is white?
If he's bigger than Diddy and he's not none of the names that I said, probably so. But then they say he was young too.
Yeah, they say he was young.
Let me get his name right. I hope it ain't the Bieber. I hope it's not the Bieber.
That's a good one. It might be him. But if they saying that the guy is young and he's an A-lister, I can't think of that many black people, man.
Right. Not at all. And somebody that's more powerful, more of a celebrity than Diddy. You understand what I'm saying? If they were saying somebody that was more celebrity than Diddy, he was an A-lister, he was younger. You know what I'm saying? And if he's not black, it would have to be the Bieber. That's his name, Bieber? They said I got that wrong too. Justin Bieber, allegedly. I don't know, bro.
Right. But when you heard the news that Diddy, he had a tape with another man, did that catch you by surprise or no?
Well, all this shit is by surprise to me. A lot of this shit is by surprise to me, to be totally honest, man. Because I knew Puff, I knew Puff Daddy, I knew Diddy before he was Love and Brother Love and back to Diddy. So, no, but the diddler, he's the diddler now. A lot of it's surprising, but it's not unheard of. Because you hear of all kinds of shit, and whether it registered with you or you internalize it or something like that, that's a whole nother story. But a lot of this stuff is crazy. But this is the world that we live in now, man. That these individuals thinks is all right. Bruh, when does it comes all right to be sitting there eating food off a naked woman? When did we start doing what they do? Let's keep it a buck. When did we start doing what they do? These guys is popping pills. These got Jay-Z dancing with a chick that's into cannibalism and supposed to be witchcraft and stuff like that. When did we start doing that? It's messing up who we are and our culture. And these guys that is out here selling it to us like it's all right. And it's not all right, bro. We got to get back to us and what hip hop was meant to be. Not what they want you to think it's supposed to be.
This is where the conversation shifts from uncomfortable to something much darker, because now it's not just about rumors or behavior, it's about the possibility of evidence, tapes, recordings, things that, if real, wouldn't just raise questions, they would force answers. And once that idea enters the conversation, everything changes. Because if there are multiple recordings out there involving powerful individuals, then the story isn't controlled by interviews anymore. It's controlled by what can be proven. And that's exactly why this becomes dangerous territory. Names start getting mentioned carefully, almost reluctantly. Even something as sensitive as Justin Bieber being brought into speculation changes the tone completely, because now you're no longer talking about equal power dynamics. Now you're talking about influence over someone much younger, much earlier in their career. And whether those claims are true or not isn't even the first issue. The issue is that the possibility alone creates massive legal, ethical, and emotional consequences, which explains why certain topics never make it into mainstream productions, because once you go there, you can't control where it ends.
Katt was still wearing Kevlar to bed. To bed. I would get in bed with him at night and he would have Kevlar on. Wow. In bed.
So why does it all come to a head now? Why now? Why?
Because he's the acceptable monster at this time. Like R. Kelly was the last time I sat on this couch.
So who's next?
Y'all don't see the lineup?
Yeah, we see the lineup. I'm just waiting to see who's next.
Jay-Z is setting Diddy up. Why is everyone having such a hard time? He ain't doing shit different. He lined up D. Haven, stole his life and identity. He lined up Big L, stole his life and identity. He lined up Dame Dash, stole his life, identity, and took his love. Lined up R. Kelly. He wants to be the one.
Yeah, shout out D. Haven. He actually hit us up, wanted to tell this story.
You need to talk to D. Haven.
Yeah, we need to talk to him.
I told you that last year when I put you on the phone with him.
You did.
And then got ran into and then I got thrown in a hospital by my insane husband who's working for YouTube to make his mama proud.
So wait, Jag, I'm just curious because with Diddy...
You mean?
With Diddy settling within 24 hours, which has never been heard of, 30 million, or the lawsuit was 30, undisclosed amount. But
He knew for 30 days that shit was fitting to happen.
Within 24
He could have
hours.
paid that 30 million before.
Yeah, why? Let that hit the fan. Did he?
Because he's Diddy.
He called a bluff?
Yeah.
He should have enough money to
He
check.
put the boots to that girl. She's supposed to be a good bitch. No matter who she with. All the time he putting a groom in her. Of course he thought it was still gonna work. He thinks he's God. He ain't doing shit. I raped the f out of that bitch, put the boots to her last time I seen her. Her and her trainer, boyfriend, husband. I don't get no.
By the time you reach this part of the story, it's no longer just about one person being exposed. It starts to feel like a cycle. One name rises, one name falls, and behind it, a pattern keeps repeating. That's exactly what voices like Jaguar Wright have been pointing at for years. The idea that certain figures become what she calls acceptable targets. Not because they're innocent, but because exposing them doesn't threaten the entire structure. And that's a powerful idea, because if one person can be sacrificed while others remain protected, then the system stays intact, and suddenly the conversation shifts again from what happened to who benefits from what gets exposed and what doesn't. And when a documentary avoids certain names entirely, it raises the possibility that the story we're seeing is only the part we're allowed to see.
Listen to this audio from Suge where he plays an audio from Badass saying that, Snoop warned him not to go to Vegas because he knew something was going to happen. Yeah. And, I want to get your opinion on it.
Dash was on a situation saying that Snoop told him they can't go to the fight, can't go to the club, can't go to Vegas. It's going to fuck shit up because something's going to happen, basically. Dad was like, no, I'm not going to that shit. You want to roll with them? You going, it's going to be all the bloods there and blah, 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 and none of the homies are going to be there. And I was like, dang, I didn't really think of it like that. I don't really feel uncomfortable. But now that you're saying like that, he's like, Snoop ain't going. Like, why would you want to roll? Why we don't roll like that? You roll with Death Row when the homies roll. And I was like, you're right. So I ran back over there and I told Pac, like, Pac, I probably ain't going to be able to roll. Pac said, man, I'm gonna let you can go to the fight with me. So Pac was like, you can go to the fight with me. After the fight, we going to the club. He said that Daz told him, well, you can't go, something's gonna happen. Basically, Pac or me, whoever, if you go, it's gonna fuck shit up. He stated that he was living with his mother and living with Daz, so he had to listen to Daz and not go to the fight. So I ran back over there and I told Pac, like, Pac, I probably ain't gonna be able to roll. And he was like, that's what's up. He was like, well, I'll catch you, when I come back and blah, blah, blah. And we chopped it up. And that was the last time I ever talked to him. Like, after when he got ready to leave, like we said our goodbyes, and that was the last time I ever seen him or talked to him in life.
Okay, so I get what Suge's saying, but Badass didn't say that in that thing that Daz told him something was gonna happen. So, so I don't know. It probably was. See, that's some politics I don't know.
Some of the most uncomfortable questions in this entire situation come from going back in time, because when stories resurface about warnings, movements, and decisions made right before major events, people start connecting dots, even loosely, even carefully. And when names like Snoop Dogg enter those conversations, not as accusations but as part of the environment, it forces people to re-examine moments that were never fully explained. What was known, who knew it, and why weren't certain things taken more seriously? Again, not conclusions, but patterns. And when a modern documentary chooses not to even acknowledge those historical connections, it doesn't erase them, it makes people question them even more. At the end of all this, one thing becomes clear. This story was never just about Diddy. It's about proximity to power. It's about silence. It's about what gets exposed and what gets protected. And maybe that's why Katt Williams hit such a nerve, because he didn't just call out individuals, he hinted at a system where some names make headlines and others never get mentioned at all. So now the question is simple. Did the documentary tell the full story, or just the safest version of it?